What's up, guys? Detroit Auto Show. I was at it. I want to show you guys a little bit about it. And I want to show you a little bit of the work that I did while we were at the show. So let's go. 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 We got the Ford F-150 ready to go. So right here, they had this little exhibit where they had a worker from the show and random people, you can see them all here on the right side, they'll get in the car and do the little drag, right? And I was like, it was probably computerized or something. It's like, no, it's just a random guy there driving a worker. I'm like, dude, I don't know, to me, that wasn't a good idea. There's so many problems that can come from that. This dude could be high, whatever, right? And I'm the smart one to stand right in front of it to record it right here. Nice. Oh, we got a Bronco coming now. Oh yeah. This Bronco was pretty cool because apparently it stabilizes itself while it's in a situation like that. So here we're leading up into now the good stuff. One of the recent cars that I got to work on, and so this beauty right here. So I was one of the modelers. I got to work on this guy and it came out great, I thought. I really want to close this so I can, I want to close this so we can see the hotel light. They let us. Yeah, so like I said, I was able to work on this piece probably like on the last 75% or last 25% of the project. And the reason I want to show you guys these things is I want you to connect the software alias to the work, right? A lot of you guys don't know about alias, you know about Maya, Blender, and those types of programs, but I want you guys to learn about alias now, and this is the type of stuff that we're creating in alias. This is the Chevy Traverse right here, except it's flash. Okay, they got the blinkers on. I also worked on this baby right here, which looks beast. Looks super good. Of course, I'm extremely biased on anything I worked on. I'm going to say it looks awesome and great and whatnot, right? But, hey, that's me. These lights, actually, I worked on them from start to finish. Very, very start. Concept work all the way to the end. Yeah, and so this is like I said, Chevy Traverse. It's on the road now. And guys, when you're able to work on a project like this and it's on the road and you see it everywhere, and that you get a sense of pride in that. You want to share that with the people. And that's what I want to share to you guys, because there's opportunities out there. There's tons of opportunity. And this is what this channel is going to show you. So what is this right here?
So this is a DC fast charger as well. The difference here is this is our fast charger ADV, which stands for advertising. Obviously, because of the massive screen, it's a 55-inch 4K LCD screen.
This is telling me that this is pretty heavy, right? Is that like a common? Is that how it's commonly going to be?
Yeah, it's pretty common. Essentially, these wires have to be really thick to be able to control the amount of electricity going through.
Oh, really?
So you're going to get upwards of about 700 volts on some of these platforms. So they are really thick and really strong.
What about like the old ladies?
Yeah, they might have trouble picking up. We do have a.
What about the old ladies? What am I trying to say there? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, man, that thing was heavy. So I can see that being a problem for people. But also, Imagine those like these big square boxes like in downtown Detroit. That should be interesting. I'm sure somebody will find value in the material, if you know what I mean.
Wire over here as well, which is a little bit more lightweight,
Yeah.
depending on the content of the actual wire.
And it also looks like a gun. Just saying. If somebody was chasing you, you could grab it and neck with it, you know. So here's a tail light from the GMC Yukon. I didn't work on this one, but I was part of the design process on the team on this one, and because I was on the front end on this one, and both of these lamps, front and back, man, were designed beautifully. They're so beautiful, in my opinion. The designer, I don't know if I should say his name or not, but he is an amazing designer, as you can tell. And I know he took some inspiration from, like, I know he likes Star Wars and things like that. So when you look at these little boxes in there, like when you see it on the road and stuff, check it out. It's like a work of art inside of it, sculpture. Like, I didn't actually finish this piece. I was in the early iteration process, but I was able to work on these and it was super fun. That's why I zoom in. But yeah, it looks great. Cool right now. This truck opens up like this. Has some storage room in here. Don't be afraid to get closer. And then we got this one too. Let's see. That's pretty neat, I think. That took about 15 minutes to figure out. There was like 10 people, including myself and the camera guy. We were all trying to figure it out. Nobody could get it. And then we finally found the lady that was like in charge of it, and she showed us. So right there looked easy, but how does this one open?
Wait, so you were saying
Like
you
that.
worked on this type of stuff?
That's cool.
I did some preliminary data on a footstep. I did an air intake for a performance truck.
So what do you
A lot of mud guards, which they don't have any up here.
What do you think is a challenge on the program like this thing?
The challenges,
Generally speaking.
comes into with criteria and how much space you have to package it. So you got to make sure that all of what you build is going to fit where it needs to fit.
Yeah.
And then they need to calculate the amount of air that goes through it to make sure that it functions the way it needs to.
So this one's another interesting
To
one
fit.
because
And don't have any up here. I did
like
Worked
that.
on this type of stuff?
That's cool.
I did some preliminary data.
For example, like, so right now I'm gonna talk to the Maya, Blender, and animation type people, the ones that are interested in coming over. Right? Like, you might see a piece like this and you say, "Man, that's so simple. I can do that easy." And I agree, that's not that hard. But when you're trying to actually create something for production, you have way more stipulations than when you're just modeling something for a video, for something that just needs to look good, right? This has to look good and also pass a bunch of requirements, right? One, it has to go inside of the software called NX and has to pass certain requirements in there. And then also you need to pass all the requirements of the engineering team, because they're going to be constantly feeding you criteria and things that you need to fix, from positioning to actual like radiuses to the amount of crown something has in shape. It all matters, right? And that's when you really get into the details. That's why Alias and NX is a powerful tool. But Maya is cool because, and Blender, because you can change stuff so quick and easy, right? So yeah, there's still challenges. And then also, like, everything is almost like perfect, you probably could say. Like, when you look here, like, that offset is probably like a perfect like 10 mils or whatever, right? So everything is like really well thought out when created. And also, like, so then we have another piece
A footstep, an air intake for
like this one, and these are interesting too, because you're not gonna see it much, right? It's underneath the hood or wherever it is, underneath something. So it's important. Yeah, you got to make it look good, etc. Pass these tests. But at the end of the day, probably more important to clear criteria, to follow what the engineers say. I mean, they're going to be equally important. Don't get me wrong. The designer and engineer, you'll end up doing what they say, but um, there's levels to what's more important, right? And this one is not an aesthetic piece. It's more a product, a functional piece.
Or performance trod guards.
The challenge, this thing,
Challenge is
generally speaking.
area package that's going to fit the amount. That's the big.
What about, like you say,
And then we had like some of these, like these kind of cars are the cars that a lot of people are working on inside of studios like Ford and other places, and they'll be doing sub D, and they might be using Blender, I don't know. But they're using techniques like that, quick ones, because you're trying to find a proportion how something looks, and then you're also trying to be fast and come up with cool ideas, right? So sub D comes in handy when you're working on stuff like this. And then the wheels, I know a lot of people like to use Grasshopper nowadays. And some of the production cars that were there were pretty cool, like this one, the Equinox. I think this will be a car that like a lot of people end up having, like in the like the mid-level salaries, right, of the United States, or generally speaking. And I think it'll be cool to see it, you know. It has a good feel to it. The taillights look great. That's cool how they made it like broken up like that. So I'll probably end up doing a course on that, on how to make a taillight. And then we got a really beautiful Corvette. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. The auto show though was a great time. I suggest anybody that's in the area or wants to visit it to do it. You know, spend a little weekend, hang out at Greek Town, go to the casino there. You can head out to the auto show and check out some of all the design places that there is. Like Henry Ford Museum has amazing cars, old school cars, and there's a lot of stuff going on here. So, but thank you for the support. Like and subscribe, guys. I got a lot coming out. Got my website coming out, 3D Camp. That's my company, and I appreciate all the love.